Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as Deepbluerenegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 255. Today is Sunday, December 2nd, 2018, and I'm glad you could join me today. We're a little bit backlit today. Maybe I should have been facing the other way. As I've previously explained, it's going to be crazy town around here for the foreseeable future. And one of these things is I'm recording from a hotel room because there was just no time yesterday at all while I was home. So that made life a good bit more challenging. But I figured since I was going to be bringing my computer on the trip anyways, I was going to have a decent amount of downtime before, or whatever, I was going to have a decent amount of downtime, so I was like, I'll just record now. So hopefully I'll be able to get this sent and on its way in sort of the usual fashion. And it won't be too crazy. Yeah, I think that's everything. I ended up having a lovely afternoon with my friend Laura. Laura and I, previously hung out in Albuquerque when I was living there. So she got to show me around all of her favorite places, and it was very lovely. And I would find it to be extremely difficult to navigate my car where her house is located, but maybe it's fine. It's just, it would require very careful use of the clutch, and I'm not sure whether or not I'm up to it. So, but such is life. And I had a decent amount of time knitting on an airplane, so there is that. So last week I showed you finished things, and I've washed them, but I left those at home. What would it be? I am a little bit concerned. So I put the linen sweater through the wash, through the dryer, because it is washer and dryer safe, and there's definitely evidence of bias going on, so I'm not sure whether or not I can implement the make wool process, or if we're in a very awful state. I haven't thrown it on since I washed it, and I didn't take a picture before I washed it, and maybe that was foolish. So we'll see how it looks on and go from there. I guess the primary saving grace is the fact that it is sort of structured in vertical patterns, so it's only the navy blue section that seems to be a little bit wonky, and we'll figure out if it's still wonky when it's on my body. And since then, I have sort of started 2 new things. So what I have in front of me right now is the recreation of my fiber optic Rouge Violet Cerulean hat. So I cast on, was going to town, and I thought I was being super duper clever. I figured that I would keep increasing on the hat until it was the right diameter, and then the right diameter times pi would be the circumference, and I was aiming for a 20-inch circumference hat, which meant I needed a 6.3 inches across. So I measured that at midnight. I did a little bit of straight knitting afterwards. I came back home, and the Dear Sweet Love and I watched a movie, and I just knit the entire time. And then, we turned on the lights at the end, and I looked at the hat, and oh no. So I found my gauge ruler. I might have fixed this on Saturday, who knows. But I found my gauge ruler, I looked at that gauge, my gauge was 7.5 stitches per inch. And you know what this meant? With 180 stitches, that was a 24-inch hat, which was not the 20-inch hat that I was going for. So it turns out that if you cram that many increases in, it takes a couple of rows for it to figure out what it's doing, and it had not. So even though technically speaking it should have been correct, it was not. And even though I did do one leg of the flight knitting it, I have not yet recovered. So this is my fiber optic handspun. It is the new handspun, and this is the hat so far. So I am much happier with how this guy is turning out. It actually looks to be about the size of my head instead of not the size of my head. And I am knitting it sort of at a denser gauge than the original hat. I am totally in love with the colors. The crappy lips do not do it justice, which is too bad. But it's like if we put it, no. So the lights do not do it proper justice. So this should be sort of a very purpley blue, but it's just showing up as the same color as my, well, close to the same color as my shirt right now, so whatever, such is life. So that is going along. That is very mindless. It wasn't very good airplane with no entertainment knitting, so I ended up switching to the spinning project for the second leg of the flight, because it wasn't doing it for me. And I got a little bit sort of wandering around town with Laura as well, so that was good. So I can see now that I am beginning to get into sort of that deeper purpley blue, which is very pretty. And we shall go from there. So, would it be? So far, so good. I am knitting this on a single 1.5 circular. I was doing 2 circs until it got big enough. So what I did to start was, you can see maybe the little tail here. There we go. I need my hand for contrast. It's like, do I like this color? Yes, I do. So what I did was I cast on 5 stitches, and then I left this little tail to seam in the end, but that was entirely superfluous. Then what I did was I increased that to 10 stitches, and then I used 10 stitches every other row as the increase rate. With hats, you sort of have options. If you want it to be a little bit more tapered, you go with 8 segments. If you want it to be a little bit more flat on top, you do 10. If you want to look like a gnome, you do 5. So, I was, I think, knitting it a short time in the gnome configuration, but I recovered. It didn't last too long, and then after that I put in a bunch of markers and was going to town for a while. So I was planning on showing how far I had gone on the hat on the podcast, but since I didn't record yesterday and I didn't want to have no knitting, I ended up ripping out until I got back to 150 stitches, which is 7.5 stitches per inch, results in the right size, and I'm now happily knitting away. So, shouldn't be too crazy. This will probably be, or this is like really good, like gawking sort of stuff, so I'm okay with that. Alright, so, and then I am using the bag my mother-in-law gave me, so what would it be? I need to throw away the pretzel trash. So, the other thing that I did was I swatched for my breathing space. So, what was I had to laugh a little bit when I was at knit, and I was just like, like, what would it be? I think the other knitters thought I was sort of having an erotic experience. Unfortunately, that could not be the episode title. I'm sure YouTube would ban me for that. But oh my gosh, this has been lovely yarn to work with. Now you can see that it is wound on the outside. I knit a decent sized gauge swatch, measured it many places. It did expand a smidge when I washed it. So before, or the before gauge was like 5.5 stitches per inch. The target was 6. But I didn't want to go down a needle size because it was a really nice fabric with the size 4s. So this means that I need to play a little what would it be? Pick the right size sweater game. And I think what I ended up doing was, so it'd be the case where the 5.3 is, I think the 5.3 was, meant that I was just a whole size off, and plain simple, done, easy. So I would do the smaller size. All of the sizes basically start out the same, and then go from there. What I was wondering about was whether or not I needed to do any bust adjustments on it, because effectively, like, it's a little bit challenging with the construction to figure out the best way to modify. And maybe what ends up making sense is to do things provisionally and then fix it up later. That might be the best choice. But I am really looking forward to using this yarn. And then I also threw in the smaller needles for ribbing, but now that I'm thinking about this provisional future, maybe I won't. So here is the combo spin that I did last year for Spin the Bin, and then this is the replacement fiber that's going with it. By weight, the green is more, by length, the green is less, so I am probably going to be doing this blue, red, green, brown variegated, but mostly with the very light blue is the primary color. Or there is a ply of blue throughout, so there we go. So this guy will probably end up being the main color, and then I will, see, that means I can't go back. So it'd be so much easier if it was this one, but I can't quite figure out how to make it work unless I just reserve a very small amount for ribbing at the end, as you do. So, because the way the sweater, so it has this solid block until probably boob, then you have vertical stripes over the boob, and then you have the sideways stripes across the body, and then you have stripes down the arm, and then you have a block of the same color block up here, and then a block down low. So if I remember correctly, actually I could just look this up. It would be more dependable, just look it up. So the green is mistletoe, and it's Nest Superwash Merino Silk, and I have 712 yarns, or 712 yards out of 267 grams. And if we go back, the Superwash Merino Silk, this guy, which is a combination of the Noel color and I don't even know what this other one was, probably Yuletide or something like that, is 908. So I do have, so I probably don't have enough of this. And I have, or what would it be? So it'd be the case where you need like 400 yards for the striping, and then you need more like 1,000 yards for the, you need 1,000 yards for the other thing. And I probably don't want it to be entirely stripy because I really do like the color block look. But like this is just way short. So I might be able to use this in creative ways to get around that. But it's still going to be different. So like it is an interesting challenge, but I did spin it for this express purpose. But I probably didn't need nearly as much of this as I ended up making, and I maybe needed more of this than I ended up getting. So I'll have to sit and think, I think a little bit more before I can cast on, but I do know what my gauge is going to be. That was complicated. So I did find it to be very interesting. I ended up getting flagged at the airport again with this. Apparently the TSA folks do not like seeing wood and ceramic and a little bit of metal all so close together. That is apparently an item of concern. And the TSA guy was like, you've been flagged for this twice now, like you shouldn't bring this, but supported spindling on the airplane is like the best thing ever. Like, how could I not stop? So I will have to figure out the better way about going about doing it. But so I am making steady progress on this guy. So I'm not sure how far I got though. I left my scale at home. I figured that was just a little bit too cheeky. So I ended up getting a decent amount done on the flight. Interestingly, the whirl came off the shaft when I wasn't expecting it to. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not there yet though. So I'm just comparing the relative sizes of my spindles. So I still haven't wound this off yet. I may end up using the other, I don't know, I need to wind this on a Nasta pin because it's going to be pretty delicate stuff. And just, it has, what would it be? Because that is the cool thing that working with a supported spindle does provide, is you don't need to spin the yarn enough to support itself, you just have to spin the yarn enough to hold together. So it is an interesting exercise in learning how to add the minimum amount of twist. So that is cool. So this is my KCL Woodworks combo spinner. So I have the supported spindling tip, and I am spinning off the tip, and you can see here my little mini cop on top, and then I have my little spinning bowl. So if I am sitting sort of at a desk or table height, then I put my bowl on the stand, because I got a convertible spinning bowl, whatever. But when I'm sitting on an airplane, what I do is I just put this between the legs like I am right now. So then I like having my fiber to this side of me, and then I can just flick, add some twist, park and draft, flick, add some twist, park and draft. So this is a very lovely way of getting through all the fiber, so that's pretty cool. So it's been a fun project. I'm really enjoying supported spindling on the airplane. I may need to disassemble the clay part from the wood part the next time I go through airport security. So we shall see how everything comes together there. Or I figure it's probably a good test case. Going through DFW, I've never had a problem with it, so whatever. So, should be exciting. Let's see. I'm sort of curious how, would it be? So I am a little bit curious about how my recording schedule is going to be working out for the month of December. I don't know if it's going to turn out that I end up taking a decent amount off. Just because my in-laws are going to be in town, my parents are going to be in town, one of Danny's friends is going to be in town, so it's going to be a little bit bonkers, on top of the bonkers like I'm already going through. So much stuff all at once. So I'm not sure whether or not I will have time to record while everyone is over. It's going to be, I think, a good week and a half time period where everyone's around, so we'll figure something out. What it be? I'm hoping it won't be that I'm hoping it won't be a 2-week break, but I'm not 100% sure right now how that's gonna come together. Let's see. It's all sorts of exciting times. I'm definitely feeling pretty tired right now, though. I didn't get to sleep in. There was a reason why that flight was so cheap, because you don't get to eat lunch. There's a reason nobody wanted that one. And yeah, no, I just have to chill out for a while. Though I don't think I'm gonna have too much trouble doing that. Let's see, and then I just sort of have to plot out when I need to be where and what I need to do before I'm ready to be there. So it shouldn't be too crazy. I showered, yes. So whatever, a little bit short this week, but such is life. Hopefully we can have a more normal episode next week. What would it be? I'm certainly going to have more knitting and spinning time than usual because I had to take vacation, so and hopefully good things happen, so it shouldn't be too crazy. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.